everybody. Welcome to Final Watch It.
We're here.
I am Luigi Mangione, still apparently Matt Christy. Smoking Phat is with us.
I'm back here, just
not
in spirit.
He's the man behind the curtain tonight.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man.
Yeah, Carissa's out sick tonight, so I'm gonna do my best.
Yes. And
Man, we do have people here in spirit. We got David Lynch in spirit, and we got fucking Bob Ueckert in spirit.
Bob making a call for us tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so sad.
As our show is known to be.
Shedding a tear.
A bit outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Lynch is like the most fascinating director that I never liked. Like it's like I love him to death. And then every time I watch one of his movies, I'm like, yeah, all right. Like that happened. I'm too much of a character and plot guy to ever get into the David Lynch stuff. How do you guys feel about him?
I enjoy some of his work, and some of it just veers off so far to either direction that it's like, okay, sure, why not? But I mean, you got Dune. I mean, I guess if we had a time, we could do a full Dune conversation now officially between original Dune and new fancy shiny Dune.
Which he hated. He hated his Dune, and like people fucking love his Dune. And every time he was asked about it, he was like, I didn't have final cut, and I refuse to do another movie without final cut because that movie's a piece of shit. And it's just like, oh my God. Like,
but yeah, no, he's a one. He's a one, so.
I think I fell in love with David Lynch when he was in an interview once and he brought up that George Lucas asked him to direct Revenge of the Jedi. A Return of the Jedi, back when it was called Revenge of the Jedi. And like which I love that we all live in a world where David Lynch was going to direct a Star Wars film. And David Lynch, to his own credit, was like, me and George Lucas have a lot in common. And like, that was his line in the interview. And I was like, really, motherfucker, please go on. Because no one has ever made that connection at all. But he had a really valid point. He was like, we both want to make movies, but we both don't like working in the Hollywood system. And he's like, that's a small group of people. Yeah. And that still make movies, but don't want to make movies in the Hollywood system. And he's like, the only difference between me and George Lucas is his make billions of dollars. Right. And so, like, yeah,
like talk a lot about mine. So
yeah.
Hey, they still let Francis Ford Coppola make movies somehow. So
fair.
What are you gonna do? That's a bottle of tasty wine, my friend. Mamma mia, what a feat.
Well, make sure that we pour one out for both David Lynch and Bob Ueckert tonight.
Also, for those of you joining us on TikTok tonight, hi and goodbye.
Hi, TikTok people.
Yeah,
we were doing that? That's neat.
This will be the last time you see us ever again. Hey. Be sure you vote, kids. Be sure you vote.
Yeah. We'll see how that all works.
Poor TikTok. TikTok didn't do anything to anybody.
My favorite.
To waste a bunch of time. All it did is waste time, which, you know, if you're a nihilist, that app's great. So, fucking it's genius.
My favorite part about this is the TikTok generation is now going to more hardcore Chinese apps.
I love that. Like the creators I do follow some TikTok creators. All of them went to a fucking another Chinese app, which I was like, God damn it.
Is it like Redbone or something is the new one?
Red Note.
Oh, okay, there you go.
They might have called it Communist McCommunist. Like it's fucking great. So
way to go, America. Way to go. You made us more communist by dropping TikTok than anything else anybody's ever done.
It's fucking,
This is what
McCarthy
happens
cuck.
This is what happened when 80-year-olds run the country and they'd have no fucking clue. Oh, well.
Hey, we live in dumb times, too. So, you know. But we also live in a world where George Lucas was like, you know what? I gotta close out my fucking crazy space odyssey. Let me get David Lynch on the fucking phone here. Which that's actually what happened. He called him and flew him out to fucking Skywalker Ranch. And according to David Lynch, he's like, he showed me something called Ewoks. I didn't know what was going on. I'm not joking. Look up the interview.
David
Lynch.
That's fine. That is a line. of all time from
Yeah.
David Lynch.
Exactly.
We
And we got to
I had no idea what was going on.
Right.
Us, the
How's it
viewing
feel,
audience of
motherfucker?
David Lynch media.
How does it feel? Yeah.
So you had no idea what was going on. We have no idea what's going on in half the shit you produce, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I know, that's great. David Lynch gets really lost in a George Lucas plot, let me tell you. This duck, he's from another planet.
Oh, God. David Lynch directing Howard the Duck.
Star Wars and Howard the Duck. We got excellent segues here to actually get on track.
We do. Yes.
This is really trying to get into that what ifs.
Today we are going to be reviewing the final episode of Skeleton Crew Season 1.
Yep.
We have been here through the journey, or most of us at least. And we're here to wrap this story up. So like we do every week, let's start with our general feelings on this episode, everybody. Miranda, you want to start us off?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought this was super riveting and super fun and super. I enjoyed it. It was a great wrap up to everything. It surprised at every turn, and it felt very, very Star Wars. It was just super fun to watch. Our kid thoroughly enjoyed it, which was always good. To the point where he just, I know we've said this before, wanted to go back and watch previous episodes to get into it. We got all sorts of Easter eggs and references to other things that are going to be talked about as we go on later into the episode, but it was just all around a good time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like that we got our space battles and we got to see what the heart of everything was, which seemed super kind of ridiculous, but very Star Wars-y in the fact that the droids were running the entire program, which was a little bit different than we've ever encountered before. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great sum up to everything. I think they did a really good job with it.
James?
Well, I haven't seen as much as you guys, and I've seen like half of the episodes. It was an ending. Like, it's like, that's how I felt about it, where it was like, that is an ending. These are the world's worst fucking parents. Like, at one point where I was like, they were like, oh, I don't know if we can destroy the thing bringing the good guys in. I was like, you really want to protect your homes and gold over your children and your own life. You guys are the shittiest. They're the shittiest. We'll get into it later in the episode, but it's it's an ending. It's an ending. It's fine.
Okay.
How I feel about the whole show.
If
It's like,
watched
it's fine.
this show before, fine is high praise for
Yeah.
James Cope. So.
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah, no, mirroring kind of Miranda. This was, definitely the best finale of a Star Wars series.
Better than a Luke Skywalker showing up? I don't know, bro. I don't think.
No. I said
Don't.
I said for a series, not for a season.
But do we know we're not getting another?
We're not getting another season of Skeleton Crew because unless Disney wants to become the biggest liars in the world about why they didn't renew The Acolyte, because they said The Acolyte wasn't being renewed because of viewership numbers. This has had lower viewership than The Acolyte for being a much better series / Star Wars anything than The Acolyte could ever hope to have been. So, as an ending, this is probably the best ending for a series as a whole that they put out for the Star Wars stuff.
I would still argue the season 3 of The Mandalorian is a perfect finale. Like them in his little house, baby on the porch, and I was like, we don't need any more Mandalorian after this.
For The Mandalorian, yes, but the problem for that series is they introduced too many things in that last season. That they just left open for it to be done later.
Bitch, give it to Boba Fett. He's got nothing. He's got fucking. We watched the whole season of him.
You did.
Motherfucker forgot he had a jetpack.
Hey, we watched the whole series of Boba Fett. That's not getting another season.
Oh man.
But no, but that's my problem for Mandalorian. Is no, I enjoyed the ending for the Mandalorian and Grogu, and I'm fine that they're just doing a movie, not doing a season 4. But as a series, they left too many things open within that universe that they need something else to explain a lot of it. This had open-ended things for possible more stuff, but for the story that they told for this series, everything was resolved, or at least taken care of, in a nice little package at the end. And it had a true Star Warsy type, hope looking to the skies type ending for it. Yeah. So no, but Jadon Arwood being not necessarily a villain, just being a person raised by circumstances and trying to do what he can and what his universe view is based upon what happened to him in his life. It's like great. You don't need a super evil person. You need something like that. Somebody who's evil based upon the circumstances, and somebody who, in the end, I think showed that there's a possibility of some sort of redemption for him. But we'll see. So
yeah, I liked the ending. I wasn't like overjoyed. There was some definite moments in this episode where I was like, oh, that was great. You say you hate the parents, but the part where the dad fucking actually can do some shit to help out, you know what I mean? And just the kids in general getting together to do that, like it was good. It did feel very Star Wars in a lot of ways, like that, you know. I did also, I have to say that I liked you know, the reveal of what's his name, Jod or whatever storyline. I definitely like that as well. I like that, you know, like I say, they played that kind of gray Jedi, not really a gray Jedi, just a Force user. He just knows how to use the Force. Some asshole said, hey, you can kind of do this. Taught him a couple magic tricks. He's used it throughout his time. You know what I mean? It's almost like the opposite of what the dude from Obi-Wan was. You know what I mean? He's like, he does have it a little bit, but he, you know, he uses it kind of in a similar way.
If you're a Force user, like you have the ability to use the Force, and you decide to not go Sith or Jedi, do you think you would use it to masturbate?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Jod, 100% did
yeah.
that. I mean, you got to think, what was he picked up around 13 years old? Probably the first thing he did.
There you go. You probably got caught. You probably got caught using the Force.
That's how that
hands way up here, hands way up here.
That's how that female Jedi found him.
Ecstasy.
It wasn't an Aladdin thing where he's stealing apples off a cart.
A Force blowjob is a really awful name for something, though, I have to say. Yeah. I mean, that's probably not going to fly nowadays. He probably just got kicked off.
The hands-free Force.
Yeah.
Well,
I enjoyed it, and that being said, like I wasn't like overjoyed by it, and maybe that's just because by the ending, because I expect so much for it to be like, here's the thing, but it was refreshing to not get that actually, not that it was a more contained, like, okay, we're telling this story. It could have big repercussions throughout. It could be like, oh, you know, you remember when we fucking found all the gold now and the Republic is funded, and now that leads into something where it's just like a nod to this. Cool, you know what I mean? But it didn't lead to something bigger. You know, it led to bigger ideals for the kids. You know what I mean? Which I thought was cool. Like, you know, like they're, you know, kind of a, you know, even though it looks fine, but it's kind of an oppressed. You couldn't even see the stars. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they were definitely in a very pretty gulag of a sorts, you know what I mean? That this was playing off, you know. It also shows a bit of the, you know, the Republic and the kind of links they were willing to go and have been willing to go. That makes the, like, you know, any large governmental anything is going to have, you know, is going to have its flaws within it, you know, which are whether you call it the good guys or the bad guys. So, you know, I thought it was playing with a lot of those big Star Wars themes, but not jamming them down your throat. I thought that it was a fun ending. You know what I mean? I liked the very like, hey, these fucking kids are gonna get some shit done, and they're doing shit that they actually showed them throughout the series.
Yeah.
Deal with and overcome, and now use those skills in the end. You know what I mean? Just that little part with Wim holding the lightsaber the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there are little things like that. Like, it was very conscious of the story it was telling. It told that story. It ended it. I will a little bit agree with James. It was an ending. You know what I mean?
It was an ending.
It was an ending.
And like it was not bad at all. There were like several moments where it was kind of like, all right, we need to get on with it or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I definitely feel like they downplayed the parents a lot, and I think it was more to make the kids shine more. They're like, let's make the parents suck so bad that the kids have to be really, really good.
A little
It's
bit.
so
They
the
did
kids
give those
are
parents a
so
little bit of a
cool.
redemption, though. Like, everybody got a little bit. I will,
yeah,
like Elephant Dude's, Neil's parents didn't really have a lot to do. The Cyborg girl's parents had a little nod to be like, go get him, Tiger, kind of, you know, like, we're not scared of you falling apart anymore for whatever reason, you know what I mean, that they felt that way now. But the other two parents, I think, got a pretty good, you know, little redemption thing. You know, nerdy dad, like I say, coming in and being like, whatever the hell his job was meant some shit all of a sudden, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, you know, and then it was...
Yeah, I told Matthew I wanted his job on a t-shirt.
yeah.
There you go. In case you didn't notice, we have new special effects. Miranda is Ant-Man now, or the Wasp. She's slowly
It's one of those tough balances because the story is about the kids, so the parents cannot come in and rescue them at the end.
No.
You know, the kids have to. The kids have to do the rescuing.
Well, and you look
And
at
that's so
movies
tricky
like
to
The
do because you
Goonies,
either have to create a system where you have imprisoned the parents where they can't help,
or they're
or you got to
buffoons.
write the parents to be so incompetent that the
Yes.
kids have to take
Yes.
charge.
And in
And it was
Goonies,
kind of
like that too. Like Goonies, the parents were kind of buffoons the whole time.
Yeah.
right?
yeah, and that's kind of rough because it was like that's a harder there's a delicate way to do it, and they did it with some of the parents but not all the parents. Like half the parents were just like running around and shit. And it was just like, all right.
So that part I agree with you. Neil's and KB's parents, because they were not introduced until like episode 3, I think it was, were like downplayed a lot. Although I love Neil's dad because Neil's dad looks like he's begrudgingly in this series. Just like he's that type of dad. It's like, why am I even in this series? Get me out of here. Put your mom
I
on.
was asleep in my
I don't
chair.
even want to fucking be here. No.
Yeah.
But
Wait, does he relate to you?
sure, so don't let me on here. But to your point of they're making them dumb and everything like that, and it's like valuing the planet over that. The only reason I don't agree with that is because they actually did a good job setting up something that kind of insulates them against that fully being a criticism against them. So the message from the supervisor that the last message they received from the Republic was that the Jedis were traitors. Two things on that. One, that message came 30-something years prior.
At least, yeah.
Because the last time it was known as the Republic was right when Emperor Palpatine sent out the Order 66, and then it became the Empire. So somebody shut off all communication to the planet from the outside. So everybody in this system has been raised only in this system and know nothing else of the outside universe.
Yeah.
So the parents being the way they are is because that's how they were raised, and that is the only thing that they know.
And that's the same excuse you used for your uncle.
Yes. He's never seen the
go,
outside
there you go.
world.
Hey,
He's never seen the outside world. What do you want me to do?
He's never seen the outside world. He's from Kentucky. Leave him alone.
So their value of their system and the way of life and everything is based solely upon that. That's all they know.
Yeah.
And that
Well, then, I get that argument. For me, the parents and the slow pacing of the episode kind of dragged down a little bit. But really, as far as my bitches go, those are my big bitches for this episode. That kind of ends it with that.
So.
Where and even the some of the slower pacing, I know why they did it. They were trying to build tension, but I think after X amount of episodes, I was kind of like, let's just get fucking on with it. Like, wait, is he getting away with the gold or is he not? Are they going to stop him or are they not? It was just a little too long of the dragging out of, now we're going to do this moment too. And it was just like, oh, okay, come on.
At
Yeah.
least these are like 30-minute episodes and not trying to force
Yeah.
a longer episode
Very
or a
much.
longer season with a bunch of filler that we've seen in the Star Wars series that was absolutely unnecessary. So
I didn't feel the pace, but I did feel some of the tension falling flat. Like never for a
well, it's
moment
like-
did I think that any of those kids or parents were going to get killed. Not even for a second. Like that KB crashes.
He
now,
should have killed that
shooting.
mouse. He should have killed that
Some-
mouse 2
I
episodes
know.
ago or an episode ago or
Then I
whatever.
would have
Had he
felt
killed
like
it
he
with
was
But
gonna
is
do
the
it.
show written for an adult perspective or a kid perspective?
Absolutely.
Because our child was very thoroughly afraid that the parents and the children were actually going to get killed because he's watching this from a child's perspective for a technically child Star Wars show.
Yeah, I know.
And so from his perspective, he was very much nervous about a lot
But
of
in
this
the
stuff.
first
We're
Star
thinking
Wars
about it
movie,
from an
we
adult
see
logical
Burnt
perspective.
and an uncle. Okay, and it was famously also made for 12-year-olds. So you
I was
know,
about to say, like,
I'm just saying that like I understand what they were trying to do. I didn't get it. I'm not saying that maybe a younger audience might not, but there's probably a way that you could write it where both of us would feel like that because they've done it before.
But two, what happened though? Lucas went and changed a lot of that, so a lot of the ruthless killing that we saw was kind of was kind of pared down, and so it was like Lucas went back and made it more kid friendly. Or whatever,
the
so.
70s were a different time altogether. The Star Wars in the 70s is different than the Star Wars today.
I'll say this: one of my favorite things that I've explained to my child is back when I was his age, there was no such thing as seatbelt laws, and you could sit anywhere in the car. Your safety be damned. So
Yeah,
that was what the 70s and 80s were.
they didn't give that much a fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think like it's okay. Like I'm a horrible person. I think all kids should watch Watership Down. You know, and it's like I'm not a parent on purpose. Like if I was a parent, that poor kid. It's yeah, I'm all for kids being a little scared or a little frightened or a little and Jude Law didn't do a bad role because they were kind of like he had his own the character obviously had his own style of morals that he was willing to comply by that was different than everybody else's. And so it was kind of fine in the end, but it was like, yeah, you wanted him either to be ruthless or efficient. And he wasn't efficient and he wasn't ruthless. So we're kind of like, cool. And we're all just fucking hanging out right now, pal. So, yeah, let's get on with it. But as far as my bitching goes, that's kind of it. There were a lot of great moments in this episode. Maybe that could be a good segue to talk about what did we really like? What did they do in this episode that really kind of blew us away? I really love the moment where the spoilers, of course, as we go forward through this, but I like it when they killed the sky and everybody got to look at the stars. Cheesy moment. It's been done in 50 fucking movies. It's been done in 100 TV shows. I will like it every time because it's one of those how small we are, how grand the universe is. It's one of those great little moments that we've seen 8 million times, you know.
Yeah, especially in a
But
movie,
I love it.
Especially in a movie or a show like Star Wars, the universe like Star Wars, or any spacefaring.
It's
you
a
know what I
group of
mean?
people that have been isolated
Yeah.
from the whole time where their goddamn computers are like, oh, you got those commie Jedis with you?
Right.
So
Right.
the only good Jedis I like are ones we own, because that's how old my computer system is. It's, I bought stock in slavery, Jedi slavery. So it's like, I loved how fucking Long John Jude Law decided to fucking deal with the robot. That was a great moment of like, yeah, I'm here to get it. Well, that didn't work out. Fuck you. Just like fucking carved him up. I was just like, great. Had he then killed the kid's mom right afterwards, it would be my favorite Star Wars show. Which I know, like,
but he also needed her in that moment.
I got that.
So-
Yeah. Sure. So
I like that Steve Urkel went down with the ship
yeah,
and then
fucking
got
yeah,
mad at
man.
everybody else who didn't
Fucking
want to go down with
I
him.
did kind of
fucking-
enjoy
like,
that
"You
Steve
bitches!
Urkel's character
We're going
was
down
built
with the
up
ship!"
so much to be like, he did absolutely nothing in this series other than be, hey, that's Steve Urkel in Star Wars. Like every other episode or some
He
shit.
brought in Silvo in episode 6.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh, Lord.
I chanted out as the ship went down. Did I do that? You know, it's just
I
like
feel
that
like he was
moment.
Yeah.
buddies with someone who was
Steve
making
Urkel
the
in
show,
space,
and
you
he
guys.
was like, you know what I've always wanted to be is in the Star Wars universe. And he's like, well, I can put
Well,
you in this weird.
It's the same reason that Danny Trejo is a Rancor Wrangler.
Yeah,
I mean,
why
It's
not,
fine.
it's fine,
dude? Why not?
Fucking
Nobody
let
did
him.
it.
And the best running gag now going forward, anytime they bring up pirates, is if Vane is in the pirate crew that they show for whatever series or movie they're in.
The what?
Vane. The Vane being the pirate that was in the Mandalorian
Oh yeah.
and now is part of Silvo's crew. If he just keeps showing up in new pirate crews every single time they introduce pirates, that'll be the best running gag they have for a character.
It was
That'd
also
be
like,
amazing.
going back to like making it more kid friendly, and it did feel very kid friendly. They murder like over 100 people in this
Oh,
goddamn
definitely, yeah.
episode, which
Probably,
like
yeah.
I know they gloss over it. They're like, hey, what bad guys? They're on the run. It's like that ship crashed and burned, motherfuckers. You think it was manned by nobody? Like, so yeah. It's so weird because it's like it's literally the Star Wars universe. So it's like every time you try to do a story in that, it might have to end in a great big fucking space battle. But that space battle definitely means like people died. And so if like you're trying to PG Disney it up, that gets we get into like a gray area. So,
You got to show a
Yeah.
lot of escape pods coming.
Mm.
out
Well,
of the ship
they
every
showed
time.
the
Gotta have-
they showed the bridge being evacuated except for Urkel. So yeah, you can take from that they,
And
that
all
they
of the
survived.
all of the deaths of the bad guys are big sparkle explosions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, in the first episode,
like
they shot a bunch
fireworks.
of people, if I
Right.
remember right. So, like, you know, whatever.
Well, that and then the citizens who died in the vehicles and everything that they didn't evacuate from that didn't actually want to show people in those things. So you know that
Someone
yeah.
out there on the internet has to have a death count on this. Don't worry.
an assumed death
yeah.
count. One of my favorite things was the straight up ET bike chase nod that they did with
Oh,
the
yeah.
speeder bikes
yeah,
in
the
this.
Speeder bike.
And I
Speeder
can't
bike
wait.
was nice.
And I can't wait for the re-release of Skeleton Crew when the pirates start throwing radios at them instead of shooting.
Yeah.
But no, a mixture of speeder bikes doing the whole ET escape from the federal authorities thing. That was just wonderfully.
And they set up the jump earlier
Nice, yeah.
too, like they,
Yep.
you know, like
Yep.
That's one thing I've said early in this series is they did like obvious flashing red light. This is going to be important for something later setups, and they all had mostly satisfying payoffs to them. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't bring this up enough because this will be like my third time bringing it up. But did Werewolf by Night suck? Because Kenobi would have been like this. Kenobi would have been the most badass 2-hour movie we ever saw, and this would have been a really fucking bad. We all love the movie Goonies. If you took the movie Goonies and watered it down to fucking 8 fucking hours or whatever, we probably wouldn't like it as much.
no.
And I wonder if that's what this is suffering from. If it's if it had we thought on with it.
yeah.
Other than the long first episode, you got about 4 hours because, like I said, each of these were about half an hour long, maybe a little bit longer each. So just a little bit over 4 hours for this entire series. Yeah, you probably could have pared stuff down and everything like that, but I think it made it important for what's her name, Fern's point towards the end, where she's talking to her mom and saying, for all these horrible places we went to, there was always this good that we found. And I think that the episodes were to showcase that and reach to that point. So that was an earned point.
Yeah, and that was kind of a like aha moment for me when I heard her say that. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, okay, yeah. You
They
did have
got
real
help
shitty
along
people
the
that
way,
were
yeah.
trying to do bad things, but when I think about it, there was always somebody good who was like, hey, like in that very first episode, hey, don't fucking talk to those people. They're gonna, you know what I mean? These
Yeah.
people are gonna kidnap you and do whatever the fuck they want. What do you guys, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it was you initially, or at least I initially thought that person was gonna be the real bad guy, but they weren't. They were just like a good Samaritan looking
Trying
out
to be
for someone.
nice. Yeah.
And once she said that, I did feel that.
Yeah,
through the series.
so paring this down to like a 2-hour movie, you'd lose a lot of that, and that line would no longer serve any purpose
That's true.
for the overall thing. But like I said,
I disagree. I think you could have definitely did it. And I mean, I look at a movie like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles where they go and they deal with a lot of people for a minute, but those scenes are significant, so you remember those scenes. And you could do that same thing in a movie too. I don't think that it requires.
It also comes down to like the writing. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a brilliant film. What was the one with fucking Robert Downey Jr. and fucking Goofy McGalligan?
Oh yeah, Due Date or something like that, right?
Due Date, but excellent example.
Fucking
Exact same
terrible version of
plot.
the same movie.
Fucking unwatchable, unwatchable.
Dog
Like
shit.
so, it's like John Hughes, who
Still with
wrote
two very talented people in it
8,000
too.
terrible scripts. By the way, John Hughes wrote under 3 aliases. Okay, did you see Bodyguard Drillbit Taylor or whatever? He wrote that shit under an. He wrote so much. John Hughes wrote so many terrible things, but he also wrote like 10 perfect scripts, like out of 100. And we got Chuck Lorre's and shit who never wrote one good script, who gave us thousands. We got Michael Bay's. We got all these. So it's like, I will allow John Hughes to write the fucking 8 million, the Dennis the Menace movie, so long as every now and again he gives us some Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But I think that's not fair to compare certain things to, like, we bring up Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's one of the high marks, you know? So it would be great for everything to hit the level of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But yeah.
But I don't think I use that as an example, but I mean they do that a lot of times in movies. They will have great little character bits that will pay off in the end. Okay, look at something like Joe Dirt. I would say Joe Dirt pays off your character shit at the end as good as anything. You know, you got Christopher Walken comes back.
It's set up.
Maybe I
It's set up.
miss
You're
Dad.
not
You
wrong.
know, I'll poke you with a solder knife. Like, come on, you know, like, like they do it in movies in 2 hours or less all the time. So I don't think that that's an excuse to say I needed a whole fucking series to make the point that there's good people out there.
We'll see.
You know what I mean?
We'll see if somebody pares this down to a 2-hour movie and how that is.
There you go.
Because I mean, obviously
Oh,
Obi-Wan.
I'm not saying that you could do it with this series. I'm saying with the script that was written for 2 hours to try to get that point across. I think
That's fair. That's fair if you do that. But I'm saying for this series couldn't. I don't think could be pared down to 2 hours. Somebody's going to try. I'm sure somebody's going to try. Like Obi-Wan obviously had only 2 hours worth of material in it, and we had.
It's
so
also
much
talking
more.
about like how Americans just consume media now. Like it's because of Stranger Things and Game of Thrones, everything needs to be a fucking series. And thank you, J.J. Abrams and Lost, where everything needs to be fucking building to something that's gonna wind up being a goddamn disappointment.
No, James, no.
Right.
Since we opened the show with it, we're going back to David Lynch and Twin Peaks.
We love you, Dave. We miss you.
So,
Go back and watch the behind the scenes making of Twin Peaks. He didn't know the ending when he started.
I know, but
The killer was a mistake. He fucked up in season 1, and he was like, "Yes, that's my killer," because he fucked up. And it's like a beautiful David Lynch story of him laying a bunch of clues and realizing, oh man, a stagehand is in the mirror in a shot, an important shot too, of like the murder victim's bedroom. I guess he better be the killer then, because I accidentally set that up because I wasn't paying attention. Love you, David. But you didn't know what you were doing on Twin Peaks. You made some crazy shit with that show and with a movie and then a reboot. But yeah, good lord.
yeah,
Did you watch any of the reboot shit? Good
no,
God.
No.
Good God. It's fucking it's so David Lynch. Like it's so There's talking bugs. There's coal miners that only speak in smoke. There's everything's connected to the nuclear holocaust. Of course it is. Of course, a murder mystery in Twin Peaks is connected to the birth of the nuclear holocaust. Like that's exactly what I thought. You fucking maniac.
But I just want to make sure the point's known. Lost is a lot of people's reference point to the mystery box concept, but really going back in TV history for us, as far as old as we are, Twin Peaks came well before that, and that
started it all.
that was what kind of started it all, really. Although, of course, being David Lynch, nobody was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'll just leave it to the crazy David Lynch to take care of that stuff." So,
All right, let's rate this show unless anybody else has anything.
Anybody else have anything else?
Nope.
Because I got at least one Easter egg thing I'll bring up after we rate it.
All right, let's rate this thing. Miranda, what do you give? Skeleton.
The final episode?
of Skeleton.
Yeah, episode 8 of Skeleton.
It's out of how many?
For this one.
This one's 5, yes.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's a very solid ending. It summed up everything. It gave the kids a shot at being the cool kids that they were going to be built up to be the entire time. It did a really good job of making it feel very, very Star Wars. It brought in all of the wars of the Star Wars, which sounds ridiculous saying it out loud, but we all kind of understand what that means because it brought in the fight scenes and all that good stuff. So I enjoyed it. I think it did a way better job of summing up things than I thought it was going to do. So
Okay, great.
That's the Creature Commandos one.
Creature Commandos one. Yay!
mhm.
I'll fix that.
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Oh, wow.
It's way stronger than I thought it would be. Like I went in, I watched this whole series with hate. I think Star Wars. I think Star Wars is already kid enough. We don't need to go any further with kids. It's like somebody showing up to Sesame Street and going like, "Hey, we need to dumb this down for kids a bit." And it's like, "No, we don't, motherfucker. It's fine." I feel that same way about this show. Having said that, this last episode especially had a lot of great moments. The kids are solid. I hate that we have to water everything down to make it a series now, and so that we get episodes. I think this would have been brilliant 2 hours ago. Right now, it's a fine show.
But for clarification, since we're rating the episode, not the series, are you rating the episode a 3 or are you rating the series?
I'm giving it a 3. I wouldn't give this series an entire 3. I didn't even finish it, so I can't really say that.
You chose not to try to start it.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I could be fucked up or I could watch this show, and I chose fucked up. I want you to know that every time. Every time I chose being fucked up more than I chose.
You're not even in LA anymore where it's burning down.
Yeah, I miss that place. Fires.
I like that it zoomed into your face.
For you right there.
It looks at the sky.
Pre-edited clip for later. All right.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Episode, I'm giving it 5. Series 4.5. Like I said, for an episode as a series finale, it's the best series finale for a Star Wars property for any of the Star Wars shows that have come out so far. Only because Andor hasn't come out yet, so Andor has another season. But the kids were probably the best acting kids that they've put in a show in a long time.
They're really good. Like
especially for something
I
for
watched
80s
this to
related.
hate it, and I was like, the first easiest thing
5 for the
to fuck
episode,
over is lousy kid actor. Every kid actor is a lousy, fucking worthless actor, and every kid in the show's not bad actually.
Yeah.
So.
And that's where the whole thing lies, though, is because it's heavily focused on them. If they were terrible, this series would have been probably not as good as it was, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
but like I said, for an episode, the action was great for this type of thing. They kept it grounded. being the speeder bike chase, being some conflict between John and the kids and the parents and everything, some piratey action, the callbacks to the entire series, and that set up a lot of stuff. Like, I'm happy that in the recap at the beginning, it didn't feel the need to recap at Akron and Neil finding and being told about the gun, to let that kind of be a surprise reminder that, oh yeah, that school does have a gun on top of it that Neil knows about. I understand why they showed Kim, the Owlcat, because that may be a character people may not remember by this point in the series, but like the visuals on this, the cinematography for this episode was beautiful for a lot of the stuff they did.
Yeah.
Especially as you said, James, the whole now our planet barrier is destroyed. Here reveals the entire universe.
Yep.
So, no.
And
Yeah. 5.
They got a lot right with this episode, and I'm not saying they didn't get a lot right with the series. Series is fine, but it was like, there were too many times where it was like faster, more intense.
Yeah. But no, 5 for the episode, Jared. Not 4.5 for the series, 5 for the episode.
Yeah, I know. I was just putting the episodes in the series at the end. I'm gonna give it a 4 both. I give it a 4 for this episode. I give it a 4 for the series. I can't tell you what really would have made it a 5. I think honestly, if it was a 2-hour movie, it would have made it a 5. It's just, it was a little bit long, and for me, the payoff in the end, again, it was just, I tend to agree with James, where it was, even though I liked the ending, it was just kind of an ending. You know what I mean? I didn't. Like, at the end of Goonies, I kind of wanted to know what Goonies 2. I wanted to know what these guys were going to do at the end. I liked the end, but I still wanted to know more. Like, what are they going to do next? Like, obviously,
that's the comic book geek in you.
Yeah.
That's the comic book geek needs more. You got the comic book geek at their core must be fed. They're fucking Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. They must be fed constantly. It's goddamn it. And so it's like, be a movie geek, or movie geek's way better.
Even though,
give a shit unless it tells a nice story.
Even though the Goonies ended and I wanted more, even though that there wasn't more, doesn't take away from that story. Because, like, like, it would be silly. Like, why would these kids fucking go on another adventure like that? They wouldn't.
No.
You know what I mean? Maybe when they're older, that Wim dude's gonna probably be a fucking, like, they're all gonna have a way more exciting life than they were going to have. But that's not gonna happen tomorrow, where all of a sudden they're like, we're back out with the fucking pirates again. Like, it's not believable. In Goonies 2, if the Fratellis would have shown back up and they got to fight the Fratellis now, like, it wouldn't have been, that's good for the video game Goonies 2. But not a movie. Yeah, you know what I mean? Mikey, go fight all the kids. But whatever.
If you make it work, you make it work. I will always defend, like, Home Alone 2. I will always defend that horrible movie.
Though. That every time I see.
Wait, how is Home Alone 2 horrible?
It's just a sequel. The whole, all
because,
the Home Alone movies
look at
kind of
3/4
no.
of us
Home Alone 1 and 2 are fine. Everything after that and
3/4 of us are parents.
That is basura.
No,
but Home Alone 1 and 2,
3/4 of us are parents here,
solid.
And there is no fucking way that you leave that fucking kid twice. At least that one. You might leave any of the other 13 fucking kids for Home Alone 2, but you ain't leaving that fucking kid again.
But also, like, we look at the storytelling, if you will, just for the Home Alone 1 and 2. He gets left at home because he's so incompetent. Him being left at home, he could burn the place down. He could blow the place up. Kevin's an idiot. But he overcomes that and he does everything. What happens in the second one? They drop his ass in New York City. It's like the third one is a space battle. As far as I get, the third one is Home Alone in space. And I know it normally means 4 when we get to space, but for this one it'd be Home Alone. But
except
and that's what I look for. I'm okay with, you could do a Goonies too. Just give us a reason and give us a heightening that we understand.
Well, good news, everybody. As announced today, Chris Columbus has joined the talks for Goonies 2, which, surprise, surprise, most likely is coming as a result of Skeleton Crew and kind of the nostalgia
Well,
revive and
I
everything.
mean,
Now
I don't
whether
know, man.
now
We're
whether
just
anything comes
reusing IPs,
whether
right?
anything
Like,
comes of it or not, because there's been talk of a Goonies 2 for a while.
I am there just to see Corey Feldman's performance.
That's fine.
I am
Yeah.
there just to see, because
Hey.
I mean, obviously, Goonies 2 has to be like, you know, most of them are alive, right?
All of them are still alive.
All of
Yeah.
them are alive.
All of them are still alive.
So yeah, you know, you do Goonies 2, you do them all adults, and holy shit, Corey Feldman in that movie is, that's really something to look forward to.
That's peak. That's peak
Yes.
cracked out
Yes,
kid star
please.
cinema. Yes.
Please.
Yes. All right. So
I can't wait to hear about the set actually on that one.
So some quick nods and Easter eggs I'll throw out there. So B-Wings. Hey, James, you wouldn't
Yeah.
know jack shit about B-Wings, but
Yeah.
B-Wings doing that laser is actually established in Star Wars Rebels. So this is the first time it's been seen in live action.
Oh.
Called a fusion cannon. It's been a weapon that's been part of the lore for B-Wings for a long time now.
Yeah.
Yeah. First off, was anybody ever upset besides me about the name B-Wing and going like, "How is that a B, bitch?" And
Look
so
at it,
like,
look at it from
and-
the side. You're just missing the curves on the outside of the points.
Sure. Okay. All right. I see Big B Wing has gotten to you too, motherfucker. Because there's no way that shit is shaped like a B, god damn it. Not 1 second and it's like the A wing looks like an A. X wing, them wings pop open. What do you know? What an
The
X.
Y-wing, just because it looks like the ship looks like a Y, doesn't mean you call it a Y-wing.
Dude, the B wing might as well be called like just the I wing. Like it's not a B at all. Like, it's fine.
I mean, and the way
Obviously
the way that
it's
they work
not.
and everything.
Well, it depends how much we've been drinking.
The way that they
Yeah.
work and everything. Why do any of them need to have wings at all?
Yeah, fair.
What's
fair.
the point of the wings?
You know what? We don't need. You know what the name of that ship could be? The Baller. Like it doesn't need to be a wing. It doesn't
Because
like
it looks
not
like a bee?
everything.
That's why it's the baller.
God damn it! All right, the eyeball.
Oh.
Eyeball.
What else we got? We got one of the X-Wing pilots may or may not be the same X-Wing pilot that was in the sequel trilogy. The alien race one. I can't remember the name of the alien race right now. But he was part of Poe's crew in those movies.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
More likely than not, Leia is on that ship, the Tantive 4.
Really? Is that the nod?
That is
Yeah.
the Tantive 4. Most likely Leia is on that ship because at the time she was in charge of this group.
Yeah.
So
All right.
it's either her or
I
Sarah, but-
always, I am the ultimate in hater and non-believer. Like when watching The Mandalorian season 2, which spoilers for that, I was like, oh, an X-wing, how unoriginal. Oh, green lightsaber. Looks like you ran out of ideas of lightsabers. Like I did not believe it was Luke until we fucking saw his face. Like I never think it's the person ever. And I was just like, yeah, what a bunch of horse shit.
I mean,
Should James's brother be really embarrassed of him?
yeah, probably.
Maybe. People are embarrassed of me all the time. It's fine.
It's all
But,
that.
I mean, they were never going to show if it was her on the ship or not. But based upon the time frame and based upon the fact that that was her ship still.
Better that they didn't.
Yeah, better than
It would have been. It would have been really fucking stupid.
Yeah, it would have diluted it to actually bring it into the rest of the Star Wars universe. But again, the nod and the possibility that most likely is her is fine.
Yes. Yeah.
It's such a delicate balance. It's funny. It's like with Rogue One, when they showed Grand Moff Tarkin in the reflection, I was like, that's awesome. And that's so cool that you spent all that money to give it that. And then the motherfucker had like 20 more scenes and a monologue. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Like,
that was the unfortunate.
what we wanted was just a nod of saying we know who this person. Now let's see who's new.
Less
that was
is more, guys. Less is
That was
more.
the unfortunate thing about Rogue One. I enjoyed Rogue One as a movie overall, but yeah, the way they did him was like, yeah, okay, I understand you have to have him because of the time frame and everything like that, but yeah,
It's tough because I understand they're trying to, throw
Yeah.
their dick out on the technology stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like,
Well, we
it
had the
wasn't there yet.
douchebag in the white suit. Like we already got a different Moff
I know.
Tarkin, and so it was like we had to.
I know.
They didn't trust themselves. They
I
didn't
know.
trust their own
And
fucking product.
my favorite
Yeah.
Easter egg nod is one that James has no idea what it is because I'm pretty sure he didn't see that episode. It's Wim's dad at the end making the comment when they're in the school with the ship crash or anything like that, and the fact that they're on top of the gold or the credits. He says, "Hey, get out of there! You don't want to be crushed at the end of your big adventure," which is a callback nod to the end of episode 6 of Andor, when the guy who wrote the manifesto got crushed by the stack of credits as they're making their escape at their adventure. It's a bank heist. For episode 6 is a bank heist, and he gets crushed by a stack of credits on his big adventure to try to escape. So yay for bringing in an Andor nod to all that. So, but yeah, no, Skeletor, good Star Wars, goes on the good Star Wars list, not the mediocre bad Star Wars list that we had.
I'm the hater, and I'm like, it's not bad. So like, it's like that's great. Better content is always appreciated.
Yep.
Well, let's move on, and I don't have the marquee for this.
That's
but
fine.
Let's move on to the other show that we're going to be reviewing on the whole, and that is What If Season 3.
James, did you watch your 4 assigned episodes?
I watched 2 episodes, and I liked them more than I want to admit, and I didn't have time to watch the final 2. So I watched
I know you watched 2. What was the other one you watched?
Howard the Duck, mostly for the cast. The cast pulls me in.
Kat Dennings.
Somebody needs to pull Samuel L. Jackson aside and goes, Nick Fury is not just you. All right, no. Like, it's been too long. It's been since Iron Man 2. Iron Man 1, he was Nick Fury because he had one line and he was in charge. And then in 2, he's like at the donut shop, like buddying up with fucking everybody. And I was just like, God damn it. I get you're a star, but Nick Fury is Nick Fury, and it's to some of us comic book fans, Nick Fury's kind of fucking important. He's almost like the Batman of the Marvel Universe. He's the guy, human, no powers, in the room filled with gods, and he's fucking in charge. Like that's kind of important. I don't know.
He did that in Avengers.
He is a great Nick Fury. I like it better when Whedon is writing for him. Yes, I know Whedon will punch you in the face if you ask him to be in a movie. Here's the offer I'm willing to make. I will go to every set Whedon works on. He can punch me. I'm the one buying the ticket at the end. I want Age of Ultron, not Endgame. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, you fucking heard me. I'm willing to let Whedon beat me up so long as we get better content.
We hear you all
there
the
you
time.
go. If anybody can at Joss Whedon and at Marvel.
Whedon,
I want T-shirts to say,
he didn't even say that he needed pay, and he said he was still going to buy a ticket too. Yeah. So this is for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. It's just like
Just don't send anybody of color to him.
Yeah, exactly. Take it out on me, Whedon. Take it out on me.
No, the Howard the Duck episode was the most what if episode of what if they produced over the entire 3 seasons.
Oh my God.
Well, now we know who came first. Is like fucking Jesus. Howard came and then the egg. So what? Yeah, it's like the cast. See, Seth Green reprised his role as Howard the Duck from
everything.
The Guardians movies.
James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy as a joke, as a fuck you to all of us. Like, and so it's very weird to have like we should watch an episode of Howard the Duck growing in his relationship of being a parent with the gal from Two Broke Chicks. Yeah.
It's McGee.
Yeah.
She's great. She's wonderful.
What was
like,
episode
and she's
2?
good in this episode.
I don't remember which
episode 2 was Agatha.
That Agatha
was the we justified Eternals more than Eternals could have ever hoped to justify themselves.
Jesus, is it? I was like, okay. I paused the episode at one point, and I was like, I am watching a 1920s, like early Fosse before Fosse, fucking Blazing Saddles almost dance number, and now a Bollywood dance number is showing up in it. And then they played it straight, man. They did it. They did a 1920s dance number. If Bollywood showed up in the fucking 40s, emulating the 1920s,
This is what I
and
recommended. This is what I said was good.
It's better than the Eternals. Like I was like, oh my god!
I told you this was gonna be good, and you were gonna enjoy this. I told you this.
It was very good. It was very good from Agatha's point of view. It was I don't know. I was really. This was another episode. The best compliment I can give is I stop what I'm doing and I fucking completely focus on you. And this episode had that. It had it more than the Eternals. Than the movie you spent $200 million on. I thought, good lord, what is his character's name? Something dumb like Kingo or Kingo. Yeah, whatever. What is his real name in real life? What is that guy? God, man.
So good.
You are talented, sir. I know we got Stu, and we haven't had a real vehicle for you. Please don't give up.
I'll let Miranda talk about this episode more, but you stopped watching Only Murders because he was one of the other cast members in Only Murders' most recent season.
Only Murders broke my heart. Like, it's too much talent and it's just not good enough. It's just like, yeah. Fucking hate me all you want. Only Murders in the building first season. I was like, guys, you are all super talented and this is okay. It's really going over to your friend's house and they made you a bologna sandwich. And it's like, it's fine. We can eat all Only Murders in the Building, but I was for that amount of talent on a show like that, I was hoping for something much higher.
Well, I will say with I watched all the episodes. The ones that are the more what if, like the Howard the Duck, like honestly the first three, I think are all pretty strong. And the first one may be a little acquired taste, but they're standalone shit. Like, other than the kid that Howard the Duck has showing up later, like, they don't have anything to do with, like, the overarching thing, which I think is where it falls the most flat, is I really...
How could you not go Duck Bill on the baby?
Do what?
How could you not go Duck Bill on the baby?
Because they wanted to show off what...
If you would have watched the rest of it, you would know they wanted to make a weird... kind of maybe sexy bird creature thing later on that
they wanted
Natasha Leon
face on that character.
Being cool as fuck.
Great voice actor, wasted on a terrible character, in my opinion. Like, that character means absolutely nothing through it. Like, they shoehorn so many characters in. I don't want to live in a world
where you think a duck bill can't be sexy.
I'm
not saying it is sexy. I'm saying it can be.
I
live in a world where the duck bill...
Hey, I saw Howard the Duck, rated PG, with duck tits.
I did.
So...
I definitely thought about that at some point later on.
So I'm good.
Oh, Lucas, you were horrible before episode 2. We just wanted to remind you.
So. But yeah, that's where it fell flat with me. I thought that it was very same as the other 2 seasons. It's like, oh, okay, so this is the same shit. And the team that they did put together, though, felt way more shoehorned in the end than to actually make sense. Like, because I didn't get this birdie character except for in this baby egg in this one episode until all of a sudden at the end, and all of a sudden she's one of the most important characters, right? Doesn't matter to me.
Because of all her powers that they showed that she had before, she was just a shoo-in character. Because she was like the most badass thing in the universe as an egg.
There was
before
no character
she
development.
even had
Listen, the
all
powers
the other
don't mean
powers
shit
that
if you
she's
don't
going to
give me
display
a character
later.
that means something. Like, I don't give a fuck about something that's just powerful that I don't have any character development for, is what I'm saying. I don't have any character development for that character. Cool, she's got a bunch of awesome powers, but then she's just a fucking Mary Sue that we brought in at the end. You know what I mean? That it doesn't really matter.
It's not just that. It's
Deus
also,
Ex Machina character, you know what I mean?
Sale.
That it doesn't really matter. And also you have Storm, which is great to get that voice character back. It's great to get all that back. But she's just all of a sudden fucking Storm and Thor, and here she is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't give me a what if episode on That, you didn't give me an extra what if episode or even part of that episode that Birdie was in to see her develop into a character that I care about, other than, oh, she was that egg in that one episode. Like, you know
Okay,
what I
so
mean?
how
Like,
do you feel about Peggy Carter then?
I mean, again,
I just
Peggy
want to ask
Carter's
that
the
real
same
quick.
shit. It's the same shit. Peggy Carter was the throughway through the whole thing, and that's not what if is. What if is a throwaway fucking episode that means nothing to nothing else. Okay, that's what it always was. Watcher watches. He doesn't get involved. He was forced to get involved in some of the first shit. He chose to get involved in this, and they make it a whole fucking thing. It just, to me, it was like, this is the same shit as the other two. Just
the What
give
If
me more.
comic has always been a hard sell because it's the best issues you're going to read and the most pile of shit issues you're going to read. And it really depends on the writer and the artist drawing it. And that's kind of what we have with these episodes, where some of them are going to be works of genius and some of them are just going to fall flat. It's the nature of what it is, you know?
Yeah, but
It's the characters
I feel
you
like
know from a lens.
for Peggy Carter in particular, she has been built on before in the What If episodes. She has been built on and doesn't have that gap in, say, history or whatever as, say, the Howard the Duck baby bird lady.
Birdie.
Like, I understand that
I
there's
also
a
think that-
gap in story there. And we went from she was an egg to now she's here and it's not what we expected. But Peggy Carter has been built up. We have had backstory on her before,
She's a
and
badass.
we have shown what type of character she is. So to all be like, oh, well, we didn't really play into that. We didn't really show what she can do. She's not as
But you
cool as
didn't
we think
show
or
her
whatever.
at all until the last two episodes of this one. So you have to
It's
rely
also-
on the last two seasons to give a fuck about her. Again,
We're also, like,
hold on
opening
just a second,
up-
because this show is not supposed to be an episode. This is supposed to be the fucking Twilight Zone. This is supposed to be a anthology series. But what they're doing is they're making it be a series that has a through line. I don't want that. That's not what I want from What If. That's my personal opinion, and I was fine with the way they did it in the first two even, but in this one it really fell flat for me, and it was like, just give me
It's
a thing, because
also-
I'm going to get Marvel Zombies now because of that What If episode. So if it's good enough of a storyline, then create a show based on that universe that has a through line, and then we'll do that. And then if you want to fucking do that with 5 different shows and then wrap it up and do a big Peggy Carter thing that's all together with fucking crossover shit at some point, man, I'm dick hard for stuff like that, for sure, if I like it. But this is an anthology series, and they never let it be an anthology series, and that's disappointing because now it's over.
Well, I disagree that they never let it be, because a lot of the episodes.
Well, half of the episodes each
a lot of the
season they
episodes
did.
were anthological in nature, with the Watcher being the through line. It's just the Watcher's character being somebody who interjects themselves more into it than the Watcher for any What If comic. May or may not have been a problem, especially.
And like we say
I-
this, I stand by the Venture
I-
Brothers take on the fucking Watcher, and that's how I feel about the fucking Watcher.
Ignore me.
Personally, just
Ignore me. Yes.
ignore me, as he
So-
screams it from
So,
the sky.
so the thing you haven't seen, which you haven't seen the last 2 episodes, is they did officially establish this Watcher as Owatu, which does have the comic history
Okay.
of being the one who was
That fucks
ostracized
off
from Watcher
the
Society
things, I
for
know.
intervening in events. So,
Okay.
the conclusion is a mess of like cosmic powers, and you're like everybody's powered up to the level of okay, everybody has immense power.
Uatu turns all of them into fucking Watchers.
Yes.
And they're fighting. So they're the most powerful beings fighting another group of the most powerful beings that nothing's gonna happen. Like it's just
Yeah,
the stakes are
let's do this.
nothing.
Explosions all over the place.
Nothing.
The only thing that'll be interesting to see if it holds true, because supposedly Carter's going to be in the next Avengers movie, is that Carter is the only character taken out of basically existence, and it was her own self-sacrifice to bring about peace and transfer them to. I know it sounds great. Transfer them over to the Doctor Strange Supreme universe. where he is the universe or dimension, whatever it is. So Peggy Carter technically, by canon, for all if What If carries over to anything, doesn't exist anymore. My problem with the ending is it negates the setup at the end of season 2, which is Peggy and the what's her name from the tribe show up at Loki's tree at the end of season 2. So the events of Loki season 2 take place, and they show up to his tree at the end, where he's seeing over all the timelines and everything like that.
Right.
This forgets that ever happened.
No, well, I don't know that it forgets it, but it just kind of jumps ahead where it's like, oh yeah, we're the fucking multiverse savior people, and now here we are, and then we had adventures, and now season 3, these last 2 episodes.
I don't,
You know what I mean?
but I don't see that Story God Loki wasn't.
Hey, in case you missed it, cheap viewers on Streamboo.
Oh, nice. We have a spam bot in. Awesome.
Thanks, man.
I don't see that Story God Loki would ignore the events of what was happening with the Watchers at the end, though. To me, there should have been some sort of interaction with him coming in to do something to right the universe, knowing that the universe had the potential to be erased.
You're right. It would have been way more satisfying to see Loki show up instead of fucking Ultron Supreme or whatever, Vision Supreme.
Oh yeah, Vision Supreme shows back up.
Yeah, for a second to be nothing, to be like, hey, I'll stop these guys for 2 seconds, but you're gonna all turn into fucking Watchers in 30 seconds from now, so who gives a shit? I just sacrificed myself for nothing, and I'm in this because...
But
the comic book geek in me wants to say something before we move on. The comic book geek in me wants to say...
The comics have done stupider shit a million times, and we're dumb bitches.
Yes, well, there's that point. However, if you are going to explore the Marvel side of comic books, and you're going to go into 2 people are going to mate and have a child that's an ultimate weapon, you're going to get a lot of opinionated people. Probably because the Marvel comic book fan has been talking about who fucked whom would give birth to what. We've been talking about that for at least 40 years. I know about it for 40 years firsthand. Of like who exactly, if Jean Grey was the fuck Wolverine, would we get this? Bishop threw us all for a loop because we all just naturally assumed for a long while, oh my god, Storm fucked Wolverine at some point, and now this motherfucker's time traveling. In the Marvel universe, who fucks who to produce what is important.
Hey,
Nobody had
No bingo card had.
Yeah, Howard the Duck fucks the chick from Two Broke Girls, and they give birth to Molecule Man, you know, except it's Bird Woman. It's like the most powerful motherfucker you've ever seen came out of this, which there is some storytelling in that, and goddamn Stan Lee approved.
It was very. What got me is it was very episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer or some shit.
A little bit,
where it was
a
like,
little
all
bit.
of a
Like,
sudden,
and that's why
the
it's
vampires,
Stanley
the
approved.
werewolves,
Like,
and the blah blah blahs are all after the same fucking thing, and we're kind of stuck with it, and we got to play hot potato for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna kick it over to Randy here to slather all over episode 2 in a second, but I want to call you out, James.
Do it.
I'm gonna call you a boomer for your your repeated use of who fucked who, because we've had a term for that for a while. It's called shipping. Not that I wanted to. Not that I want to dub you down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who had the Rizzy for what? Napanupa?
Razzle dazzle.
I just turned 47.
It's been a term for a long while, old man. You're too much younger than me. Too much younger than me, and I know those terms. Miranda, tell us your praise for episode 2.
I'm sorry. What? I tuned out for a second. What are you asking me?
Wonderful. Give us your praise for episode 2, and then we'll move on.
My praise for episode 2. Which one was that one?
Agatha
and fucking
go.
I mean, James.
They've got a Fosse mixed with Bollywood dance in the fucking middle of it. And I was like, well, this is my favorite episode of anything I've seen in 2025 so far. So, yeah, good God.
And James is exactly pointing out my whole love with this is the straights playing gays and doing a marvelous job at it, and those dance numbers being fabulous, and the gay banter from the both of them, and their jokes about not wanting to be with each other because they don't play for those teams, just being super fabulous. I ate every bit of that up for sure. It was just too much fun.
I would hate to. It sounds mean or whatever, but episode 2 is a better use of Kamel. It's a better use of fucking. It's honestly a better use of Howard Stark than we've seen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they play him
the
smart,
fact that
like he knows what's up,
he knows, he even says at one point, like, dude, everybody in this town has a secret. That's kind of the fun. Fuck it, you guys are magic users. I think you either want to.
We got my
Yeah,
Jarvis
and he's
back.
like, I'm using you to save money on my fucking film budget. You know what I mean?
And it
Yeah.
was like, that's. Yeah, there was a lot in this episode where it was like, whoever wrote this really took their time and thought about it and.
They saw the Eternals as
No,
like,
I
want to make that
thoroughly
better.
enjoyed this entire episode. I was losing my mind the whole time. It was just, I ate up the whole thing. It was too good.
So let's quickly go through a couple of the other ones. The first one was the
Power Rangers,
the
Gundam,
Power Rangers
whatever you want
style
to
one.
consider it.
I
Versus,
thought that one was cool. It was very
Go Gundam
very-
Avengers.
Yes.
Voltron / Godzilla-ish, you know what I mean, with all the giant Hulks and stuff like that. Pacific Rim, I guess, probably is the best fucking analogy to it. But actually better
It's great.
than Pacific Rim.
If you haven't seen these
Yeah,
shows,
no,
this conversation's even better. 'Cause I didn't see that episode.
No, I know.
But it sounds amazing.
It falls a little flat, but no, the concept is there. I enjoyed the concept
It's
of it. more than I-
definitely
more than I
Voltron
enjoyed
versus
the
Hulk
the
episode.
Hulk.
Godzillas. Hulk Godzillas. I'll watch Hulk
Basically,
Godzillas.
the Hulk
Yes.
tries to cure himself, fucks it up, turns himself basically into separates himself, but turns his the Hulk version into a kaiju or some shit
He
like
basically
that.
separates the.
Yeah,
No,
why
It's
not?
it's
he
Hulkzilla
basically
versus
separates the
Voltron.
rage from himself.
Yes.
I'll
So
watch that.
it creates a pure rage Hulk.
Yeah.
So
And he becomes an alpha, and he makes a whole bunch of other Hulks.
Yeah,
and,
so-
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
He only listens to
Cool.
Joe Rogan.
But this one was.
Agatha.
No, we
This
got it.
one
We
was.
got it.
I liked it. It was. It was a cool. Again, it was one of the one-offs that it didn't really have anything to do with nothing. It was a cool idea. What if the fucking Hulk? What if Bruce Banner tried to cure himself and turn himself into a kaiju? Cool. What would happen? All right. Awesome. I like that kind of stuff.
I forgot what episode 3 was.
That
but-
because that's your comic book stuff. It's the heart of what if.
is episode 3?
If what if has a good startup, like
Do
you
I need to
don't
look it up?
almost
No.
don't care about. it.
Episode 3 I'd forgotten about. You can watch it if you want to. Just kind of a fun episode because it's the title is "What If the Red Guardian Stopped the Winter Soldier."
Okay, that is.
Dude,
another one
that
of my
was just
favorites.
kind of funny
It's
though.
the best buddy cop
It had-
version of the characters you could have: the Red Guardian and Winter
Yes.
Soldier teaming up to go.
It was fun.
Give
it
me
was
David
goofy, it was a
Harbour
little
any day of the
more
week. That
cartoony,
dude's
but
funny as fuck.
it was that was another one of my favorites.
It's
Again,
it's
just-
also the episode that was moved from season 2. That's the episode that was moved
okay.
because they've had
okay.
this trend of moving an episode off one season to another. That was the episode that was moved because I remembered when there was a scene that they're driving in the car and they're getting attacked by this other group. Say, oh yeah, that was the scene that they showed as being the lost scene from season 2 because that was the episode they were working on and moved over.
Yeah, it was great. It was just a buddy cop thing. Red Guardian basically goes and stops Winter Soldier from killing
The Starks.
the Starks, and they end up kind of being buddy cop, going to Vegas. It's just great. It's just great.
It's
You always
David
wonder about the
Harbour
writing
is a
process when
national
all right,
treasure.
he stops him from killing fucking Tony Stark's parents. Then what? I don't know. Maybe they go get laid. So like, all right, let's write
I don't
that.
remember what they have to do. They get put on some.
whoever was the one who hired what the organization to kill Stark's parents in the first place.
Yeah,
they went
yeah,
after
it was
him.
yeah.
But they didn't have what's his name as the head of the Red Room, so
It didn't matter. It didn't matter
Great
really
call.
what it was because the whole thing was watching them try to drive to fucking Vegas while all these fucking people are trying to stop them, and that's it. There doesn't need to be any more than that. That's great.
Episode 4 was the Howard the Duck one, which is
Howard the
the
Duck, yeah.
greatest what if episode of what if there has been for the 3 seasons. Because it's like
Eh,
Yeah, that is the most what
we're
if
just gonna
of
bring
all
we're just gonna
what
bring
ifs.
everybody in. Like that's one of the better what if concepts. Just bring people in for no reason other than to go after this egg.
yep.
So do it. Episode 5. What if they were to destroy the Earth? This is the one with Shuri.
Wait a minute. Which one is this one?
The one with Shuri
No, Riri.
or Riri. Sorry,
Yeah.
Riri with
Yeah,
Riri
this one
Williams.
was.
Who the fuck is
Riri
Ray?
Williams
Exactly.
from Black Panther 2, the one who's gonna be Ironheart.
Oh, good for
So
This one I didn't.
it
like.
Mysterio's the main bad guy for this episode. The setup by the Watcher is better than the episode because the setup by the Watcher is he's seen this multiple times across multiple universes. So the setup is like, oh, so it's basically like a Groundhog's Day for Riri going through and trying to figure out how to save the last remnants of the Earth, because this is going in the assumption that Tiamat was not stopped when he came out of the Earth.
Yeah. So he
So
hatched.
the Earth was destroyed, and parts of the Earth are sustainable still in the small colonies, but Mysterio took over. So her storyline, his thing is that she failed at the end so many times, and that she fails at the end, and the way they get through the episode is the Watcher intervenes to tell her, "Oh no, you can do this. Oh no, I know you can do this," and that snaps her out of the cycle and lets her win.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
Ignore.
Yeah,
And it also starts the whole journey to where the other Watchers are like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you're tired of this guy doing this."
for the Watcher, yeah. So it's a episode.
Yeah, I don't even really remember that one.
Yep.
It was. It had some moments that had some gravitas that I
was
thought
the one
like
that Wong
visually
was
was pretty cool, and there was a few different things, but it just really like storyline wise, it just fell flat.
Like Wong was in that episode. Michelle Yeoh's character from Shang-Chi was in the episode, but wasn't played by Michelle Yeoh. Yeah, it was just. It's
Dude,
just.
they did pretty good on the voice acting, but like they didn't get Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Like so they got somebody to do a Jeff Goldblum
So the person
impression.
they got's done Jeff Goldblum on a couple.
Oh,
other,
that's
on a
right.
couple of other
Okay.
shows. So
Mm.
he's like one of those people they call in for Jeff Goldblum when they can't
You
get him.
go to Jeff
Ju-
Goldblum.
Okay.
just like they're never going to pay Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. to do their own voices, so they have their voice replacement actors in Josh Keaton and I don't remember who the other one's name is, but they.
Was anybody weirded out that the person was just doing a Jeff Goldblum impression? So
A
it was
little
like,
bit once you found
it's
out it
kinda
wasn't
weird.
him. Once he wasn't, when she saw he wasn't in the episode, but then or his name wasn't in the credits, but then he was in the episode. It's like, oh, that's okay. Episode 6, What If 1872. I like the concept of this one.
Wait, which one is it again?
1872. Shang-Chi and Girl Hawkeye as in the Old West.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Teaming up to take down
That one was pretty fun.
Yep.
to take down Shadow Organization.
Going on it, have to go get the bad guy on a train. Classic.
Mhm.
Because I can't remember what the first one was, but the second callback to Ant-Man and the Wasp, because they bring back
Oh yeah, Wally Goggins.
Wally Goggins' character from Ant-Man and the Wasp, the gangster.
Yeah.
is Ant-Man and the Wasp a fucking what is it in Doctor Who? A time point that you can't fuck with,
I guess.
Fixed point in time.
I guess, yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know
alright.
because there's like people,
They keep on.
at least two different writers of the episode thought, hey, remember that movie? Let's bring something in for that in. But they brought it.
Yeah, everybody
But
keeps bringing up shit from fucking
Wally Goggins from
Ant-Man
that
and the
movie
Wasp.
is one of the best parts of that movie.
All right.
He's great.
But the Western concept for those two characters is fun.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Again, another one that just has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a one-off.
Although the
And it's always fun to see people in westerns.
Yeah, although the conclusion again comes down to the Watcher intervening to save them in the end. So it's like, that carries over in episode 7 and 8, which is like nothing to do with the rest of the What If series. Now has heavily focused on Owatu and the other Watcher Society. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I do have a very strong opinion about one particular thing that I really liked, which was watching Peggy Carter will herself back into existence. That was a very cool moment. Like, she was like, you are not eliminating me. I don't care how powerful anybody is. I am staying here and I'm going to do what I have been sent here to do. And she just brings herself the fuck back,
See,
which
I
nobody
thought that
else
was
had
the
the ability
most
to do.
retarded thing I ever heard in my life. Yes, I used the R word.
Fuck you.
I mean, come on.
Hold on,
This is
hold
a
on.
Captain America.
Hey.
This is Captain America.
Hold on. Before you
Captain
She's not Captain America.
She is Captain America. She is multiverse Captain America. She got the same fucking juice that he got, and she just willed herself back.
She has washer power.
That is such a Mary Sue moment where it's just like, you have Captain America.
If that
you
was a
have
dude
peak
versus a
Olympic
chick, you would have
athlete
thought that was
level
badass
powers,
as hell.
and you just willed yourself back into existence.
Hey,
it's so.
Hold on. Let me catch James up real quickly, so he kind of understands what your argument is. So yes, while Peggy Carter has powers, she wills herself back into existence. What does she need to will herself back into existence from? Because apparently the Watchers now have the ability to erase people from every dimension and timeline.
Good
Yeah,
God.
that is now their ultimate power. You know that.
Well, then you're not the Watcher anymore,
Yep.
are you, motherfucker? You're the doer.
Yep.
You are the doer. Like, it's completely different. The Watcher doesn't make things change.
Yep.
I haven't seen the episode.
No, I know.
So, Agent Carter willing them back into existence, I don't know the context, so it could be well written or bad written. Having said that, one of my favorite lines of the last 15 years ever written period, by any human in the last 15 years is, I put myself back into the narrative. The line, I put myself back into the narrative, unfortunately, like most great things in the last 10 years, we got to give to Lin-Manuel. It comes from Hamilton. I really am fascinated with the line, I put myself back into the narrative, which is a brilliant fucking line when you think about it. Of somebody saying, there is a narrative, there is a major thing, and I decided, even if I was dead, or even if I was written out, I'm going to put myself back into the narrative, and I will be the lead of this.
Yeah. Who else from the snap brought themselves back? No one. No one
And so
has
it's
ever
doesn't
brought
help the
themselves
argument.
back.
You're not helping the argument. You know who definitely didn't? Captain fucking America didn't, because he can't do that shit. He can't bring himself back like that. That super juice that they gave him didn't make him be able to come back from the fucking snap or make anybody come back from the snap.
But Captain America didn't dissolve in the snap.
She was
But he
snapped
couldn't bring
out of
anybody
every
else back either.
existence that has ever happened.
I understand
Every
that.
universe, every
I understand that.
existence.
When you give someone
everything.
a power just out of the blue that they didn't have before or shouldn't have before, that's it.
The Watchers never had that power
Again,
before.
it could be written very well, but my take is it was not written very well.
It's a dual-sided coin. Like, they weren't able to do that before, and yet she pulled out
But
that
I
shit
don't
from out of
know
nowhere.
what the Watchers can do. You can kind of pull whatever the fucking Watchers do out of your ass, because they are put out as an all-powerful being.
Marvel has established this god tier level of characters, which, for as unfortunate as a movie that Thor: Love and Thunder was, they showed the pantheon of the god level characters.
I'm sorry, both Thor Ragnarok and Love and Thunder, and I know you all love Ragnarok, both those are shitty Thor stories. Both of them, I know you guys like I know you like Endgame, and I know everybody likes all these things, but it's like there are good stories and bad stories. Ragnarok is a horrible Thor story. It just doesn't work. And Love and Thunder is embarrassingly bad. Like it's like, it kind of fucks up the whole gods thing. Which that's a tricky one.
I'm. Don't worry, I'll call Whedon for you later tomorrow, and you can.
Well, my point is
Give me
that
a
it's more likely that those god tier level characters could have an absurd power than it is that Peggy Carter, again, a person who took a super soldier serum, can all of a sudden have the power to will himself back. Now, that being said,
she's a
I'm
watcher.
not saying that it's happened a million times.
She is Goku of.
She was a watcher at that point. She wasn't just super serum.
So they can fucking do
She was on a whole
But that's what I'm
different
saying
level.
is all of a sudden the watcher can also give everybody else watcher powers too, and
exactly.
that's no problem.
Hey, she is Goku of the MCU.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is it was just the whole episode, the whole 2 episodes, the whole arc of everything for me just was dog shit.
I will just die on the defensive hill of Peggy Carter forever. I'm
not
sorry.
even a big Peggy Carter fan, so like I liked her better when she wasn't Captain America. I liked her actual show that they had on fucking whatever the fuck they had it on.
It was ABC.
ABC. Yep. I enjoyed it. I watched that whole show and I was unhappy. And I was actually very happy when they showed fucking Butler, you know what I mean? When they showed actual Jarvis in the, what was it, Endgame? I think he showed up in Endgame.
Yes.
We're going to have to show JR cosplays, babe.
And I did very much like the fact that, you know, that they have considered that show canon. But I'm not a big fan of I liked the one What If and tolerated the rest of her appearances in this, honestly. Like, it's not been something that's been huge to me. Sorry.
And
I like Peggy Carter. I just don't need her to be Captain America. I think it's more validating for that character when she doesn't have a super soldier serum.
And I'm going to take that as
will herself back into existence.
I'm going to take one of your points there as a segue into our next segment. Speaking of television series that are part of canon now, the last thing we're going to talk about today is a trailer that dropped just yesterday for one of the shows that we're going to be talking about coming up this year, Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah. This trailer was excellent, in my opinion.
Not only do we show how hard of an MA rating this is going to go, to stick with the Netflix version of what we've seen so far.
I honestly think that's the most important thing, but keep going.
They've shown bits of it in every single thing they've shown so far. Yes, you're out of Kettle 1, James. We understand. We're almost done.
I got more. There's some here. All right, don't worry.
Wait, that's not fair.
I'm
I feel like I should be able to walk away for like 2 seconds then.
It continues what I've enjoyed about all the bits they've shown so far, which is I am looking forward to the cafe conversation between Matt Murdock and Kingpin. That looks like it's going to be one of the best face-to-face meetings, which is just a conversation.
Like that Netflix show knew how to build tension. Like Daredevil, that show, like that's a show that I've recently and on multiple occasions went back and at least, you know, watched again, you know, at least specific episodes. And I look forward to those moments too. And I hope that it continues more like it was in that old Netflix show. But this trailer really
it's
looks
really
like
weird because it's like you gotta take a step back, if you can. Putting these smaller Marvel characters on Netflix to be more of a rated R show. Like that was the concept. That was literally the concept. And it was Daredevil was gonna be a little more rated R, and then we're gonna do all the Defenders. We'll do Luke Cage. We'll do Iron Fist, even though he doesn't deserve anything. He never did in the comic either. Everybody's like, hey, that's the worst show. Yeah, it's the worst comic too.
Yeah,
See
he had
you
a couple
around
good runs.
prom. Like, wait till they start shoving Rom down your throat. He sucks too, but everybody's gonna act like he doesn't. There's many people in the comic book world that kind of sucks. Uh, um, and I gotta say, the Netflix shows did really a good job. A strong memory for me is Daredevil season 2 came out at the exact same weekend that Batman v Superman came out, which was also the trailer I could teach a class on because
Everybody
the trailer
drink.
for Batman v Superman is better than the goddamn movie. The trailer for Batman v Superman is fucking a work of art. And that came out. I bought a ticket that opening night to see that Thursday, the preview to see Batman v Superman, and then defeated by how shitty Batman v Superman was. I went home and I watched Daredevil season 2, which had the episode of Daredevil and the Punisher being on a rooftop. Probably an episode that you could recreate for $30. I don't know how much they spent on the episode. I could recreate the episode for $30 with me and Christensen. And
Wait, how long do we have till you guys can actually do that? Because I will pay cold hard cash to
yeah,
watch that.
if you got $30, we can make it. I'm telling
Done.
you, it's a costume ready in $30.
Venmo, Cash
So,
App, Zelle. How do you take payment?
exactly.
Let's go.
It's the Daredevil Punisher season 2, and they did this in the Daredevil show, Daredevil the Stick
There you go.
episode in
Find
season
that
1.
Cash
God damn it! God damn it! No, it's just like, if you want to talk about what comics are at the core and what a superhero, a vigilante, which is completely different than a superhero, and an anti-hero mean to those comic book worlds, watch the Stick episode from season 1 of Daredevil. Watch the goddamn Punisher on a rooftop with Daredevil episode from season 2. It is Batman v Superman if it was written by somebody who knew a fucking thing. God damn it. That's what I'm looking for in my new Daredevil.
That's why I say that
the writers who had the understanding to give us those episodes. The Stick episode is better than the last 2 Avengers films. Fucking fight me, geeks. I don't give a shit. Hearing Stick saying, like, yeah, that's wrong. That's why we gotta kill it.
James, find that QR
Cash
code.
App.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Send some Cash App money.
Fucking
There's a
Daredevil
number.
season 2
That's
with
all I
the
gotta say. There's a
Punisher.
number.
Yeah. I'm going to stop Kingpin by shooting him in the head. And Daredevil being like, yeah, we don't do that. And you need to understand that we don't do that. And like, God damn it. So is the trailer cool? The trailer was great.
Mhm.
Do I give a shit? No, until I see it.
it's fair.
Because Daredevil outside of Disney's hands has been done better. Daredevil has had some all-stars. Frank Miller wrote a fucking fantastic run. For those who don't know, we don't have Ninja Turtles without Daredevil. Please look it up. The Daredevil is one of my least favorite characters, and I can't believe how well they did him, how well they executed it in some of the Netflix episodes. Not all of them, but episodes from season 1 and episodes from season 2 are better than the movies you paid $15 to go see in the theater. And so it's like doing Batman the Animated Series. Like, it's a hard fucking if you're gonna compare yourself to Batman the Animated Series, you need to be fucking great right off the bat. And so Daredevil season 3 is fucked. Is so fucked because it is comparing itself to Daredevil season 1.
Well, I think this is 4.
This is
right?
4. There
Yeah.
was a season 3.
There was a season.
God
3.
damn it! Where was
It
3?
was not that great.
3's
Actually,
Oh no, 3's on Disney right now.
It's
So
not that great.
it sets up. They're supposed to set up why Daredevil's not Daredevil at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
So 'cause
All right,
that's
well,
what's
we'll see.
alluded to there. So
We should-
Miranda, your
Yay.
thoughts on the trailer?
You and I both have to catch up, James.
Apparently,
I'm a little bit behind there too.
No, see, it's
I've been doing
fair
it.
that you missed season 3 of Daredevil is because it was kind of on the decline of all the Netflix series. You had the second season of Punisher. You had the second season.
That being said, the first season
season.
of Jessica Jones and
Oh, yeah.
Luke Cage are both amazing.
Not bad.
The first
not bad.
season for everybody except for Iron Fist was pretty. It was
Yeah.
great to pretty
I
good.
thought Jessica Jones was wonderful.
No, as I said, it's from great to
I was
pretty good.
shocked by Jessica Jones because I was like, I don't even know who that bitch is, and I had to look it up, and I was like, oh, it was a comic in 2002 or 2001. It was right after the 9/11 comic, and I was like, that's why I don't know
Yes.
it. Because when Marvel decided to approach how they would deal with 9/11, I decided I wouldn't read comics for a decade after that, because that's how badly they handled it.
And Jessica Jones is also the series where you got a Marvel character getting fucked in the ass.
That's right.
I gotta bring it back. I gotta
There
bring
we
it
go.
back.
Boom.
So
Yeah,
All
I
right.
remember this.
I'm sorry,
I've shown
then
it
you
to
Bring
didn't
it
read
back.
enough Alpha Flight,
No,
my
no.
friend. 'cause
I said
read
episode.
plenty of
I
Alpha
said
Flight,
episode.
and
I'm
there
not
was
talking. I'm
plenty
not
of
talking
ass
about
fucking in Alpha
gay. I'm not talking about gay
Yeah,
Canadian characters.
I
I'm
very
talking about
much need to
episode.
catch up on a lot of this shit.
All right, guys.
Marvel television.
Listen,
North Star came out to the closet and everybody was like, "We know, but you, pal." Like,
listen, guys. Next
Yeah.
week we are going to be watching. We're going to be doing our
live
live watch of
Raven the Hunter, baby.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
this was officially
This is
decided
officially
then?
It's
decided.
officially decided. Next
we
week.
are doing Craven the Hunter, so we will be.
Come
doing a
on,
watch of-
COVID. Come on, COVID.
You
You're
will be
at
able
home.
to
You
find.
just-
You will be able to find
Like,
it.
COVID, you could still kill me. I'm 47. I drink and smoke
Come
constantly.
on, I
Not,
know.
not.
I'll take it too.
Come on,
Talking
COVID.
on the whole Craven thing.
Get off your
Well,
ass.
the Craven thing. I was
COVID.
reading an article before it came on the air that apparently the Academy of Motion Picture Arts felt no.
Arts.
Hey, hold on.
Jesus.
Felt the
going.
the need to come out and say that Madam Web did not qualify as a candidate for Best Picture.
Wow. Okay.
They went out of their way just to make that comment.
It's like,
You
oh,
know,
we couldn't win. We
what
couldn't even
kinda-
do it anyways, right? You know?
God damn it. What kind of reality do we live in? Jesus.
It's not reality anymore.
Yeah. That's about us.
So
Ex-
make sure you check out all your streaming services where you can
Except
find
Tik-
that. You can
Except
watch,
TikTok.
you can watch it with us together. Yeah, TikTok we may or may
We can
not
all be
see.
disappointed together.
We'll see what happens. Let's hope
Uh,
for a.
I still like the idea of using the Force to masturbate. Like, I don't think we covered that enough in this episode.
Yeah.
All I'm saying
that's
is
true,
you
that's true.
probably punch that into your little search bar and.
There
you're
you
gonna
go, there
find
you go.
something.
Forced masturbation.
It's gonna show you the scene.
Force
It's gonna
masturbation.
show you the scene from.
Be sure to Google and don't safe mode it. Come on, let's live it up.
Nobody
All right?
nobody wants to really put into a light side or a dark side category.
No.
It's just
It's gonna show you.
it's just one of those. It's just one of those force moves that exists in the universe that
But the dark side wouldn't let you finish. Like, that's what I'm afraid of. That's like no.
Oh my god.
No. The dark side would show up right at the end and be like, "Yeah, Palpatine returned somehow," and you're not
Oh.
allowed to
I don't know
go.
about that. I think that's more of a light side thing that they would not let you
There
finish.
you go. Yeah.
Dark side's gonna
Smoking
do it
fat,
aggressively
just-
and
just
fast
cut
and
him
make it
off.
just-
hey, remember the phrases come to the dark side.
That's right.
Yeah. Damn,
Also,
cookies.
yeah, they their whole sales point is that they get to it quick. You know what I mean? So
Gotta get
Yeah.
that
you don't got to
midichlorian
train
count up.
for as long as you do with the Jedi. That's why the Jedi.
I think what we're saying is we all miss David
Yeah.
Lynch.
What we're saying is.
What a
is-
great button ending.
What we're saying is that the Jedi are edge lords, and the dark side is
It's
the
like
good
an-
old
and
war you
Sith is
remember.
just
That's what I'm
goon-
saying.
Goontastic.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. That's it
Bukkake.
for us this week. We will see you guys next week. Until then, peace.
Take care, everybody.